forget everything Marvel taught you about Loki. Not because the films are bad, but because the real Loki is something the films never quite had the nerve to show you. The real Loki is not Thor's adopted brother. He's not a misunderstood prince searching for approval. He is a shapeshifter who once turned himself into a mare, mated with a stallion, and gave birth to an 8-legged horse. That horse became Odin's personal mount. You cannot make this up. But here's the thing about Loki that makes him genuinely fascinating. He is not simply evil. He is not simply good. He is something far more uncomfortable than either of those things. He is necessary. The gods of Asgard needed Loki. His cleverness built their walls, recovered their treasures, and saved their lives more than once. And his chaos, his absolute refusal to respect any boundary, is what eventually brought the whole world down. Today we are covering the real Loki, his origins, his children, 3 of whom will end the world, his crimes, his punishment, which is one of the darkest things in all of Norse mythology. And the question at the center of it all: did the gods create their own worst enemy? Loki was the son of a giant named Farbauti and a goddess named Laufey, which made him neither fully god nor fully giant, an outsider in every world he inhabited. Somehow, he became blood brothers with Odin himself. The sources don't explain exactly how, but from that point forward, he moved through Asgard as one of them, eating at their tables, going on their adventures, trusted, or at least tolerated, by the most powerful beings in existence. It was a dangerous arrangement for everyone involved. They just didn't know it yet. With a giantess named Angerboda, whose name means distress bringer, Loki had 3 children. When the gods learned of their existence, they were horrified, because prophecy had already told them what these children would become. The first was Hel. She was born with her body split between life and death, one half of her the color of living skin, the other half the blue-black of a corpse. Terrible to look upon and impossible to ignore. Odin sent her to rule the realm of the dead, the cold, gray underworld, where those who died of illness or old age were sent. Not Valhalla's warriors. The rest, he gave her dominion over 9 worlds of the dead, and she ruled them with absolute authority, never returning what she was given. The second was Jormungand, the Midgard serpent, a snake that grew so large it could encircle the entire world and bite its own tail. Odin threw it into the ocean surrounding Midgard, and it stayed there, growing, waiting for the day it would drag itself onto dry land and flood the world behind it. Thor and the serpent were ancient enemies. Their final meeting at Ragnarok, you already know how that ends. The third was Fenrir. The wolf was raised in Asgard initially. The gods thought they could control him. They could not. He grew larger than anything that had ever lived. Only the god Tyr was brave enough to even feed him. Eventually, the gods decided Fenrir had to be bound. They tried twice with conventional chains. Both times the wolf snapped them like thread. So they went to the dwarves. The dwarves created something called Gleipnir, a ribbon-thin chain made from impossible things. The sound a cat makes when it walks, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinew of a bear, the breath of a fish, the spittle of a bird. Because these things do not exist, the chain made from them could not be broken. Fenrir agreed to be bound, but only if one of the gods placed a hand. in his mouth as a gesture of good faith. Only Tyr was willing. When Fenrir found he could not break free, he bit off Tyr's hand at the wrist. The gods had kept their prisoner. Tyr had lost his hand. And somewhere in the growing dark, a wolf waited for the chains to finally break. Here is the thing the gods never talked about. By imprisoning Hel, binding Fenrir, and throwing Jormungand into the sea, they had made 3 powerful beings into enemies. They had taken Loki's children and turned them into weapons pointed at the world. The gods had just created the very thing they feared. Loki's relationship with the gods followed a pattern. He would create a disaster. The gods would threaten him with death, or worse, he would fix it with something even more impressive. Everyone would grudgingly admit it had worked out. And then Loki would do something worse. He cut off the golden hair of Sif, Thor's wife, while she slept. No reason given in the sources. He apparently just felt like it. Thor came very close to killing him. To fix it, Loki went to the dwarves and commissioned a replacement. Hair made of real gold that would grow like natural hair. While he was there, he also acquired Odin's spear, Gungnir, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and a ship that could sail any sea and fold down to fit in a pocket. Crisis resolved. Loki forgiven, for now. He stole Freya's magical necklace. He arranged the kidnapping of Idun, the goddess who kept the golden apples that prevented the gods from aging. Without her, the gods began to grow old and gray for the first time. Loki fixed that too, eventually, after being threatened with death. Every time the pattern held. Every time he pushed a little further. And then came Baldur. Baldur was the son of Odin, beloved by every god, every creature, every living thing in the 9 worlds. He was the god of light and beauty and joy. When he began having dreams of his own death, the gods panicked. His mother Frigg traveled to every creature, every plant, every stone, every metal and venom and disease in existence, and extracted a vow from each of them, never to harm her son. It worked. The gods made a game of it, throwing things at Baldur, laughing, as weapons and rocks and fire all bounced harmlessly off him. Loki watched. He disguised himself as an old woman and went to visit Frigg. He asked her, innocently, conversationally, whether every single thing in existence had really taken the oath. Frigg said yes. Well, almost everything. There was one small plant she had considered too young and too harmless to bother with. Mistletoe. Loki already knew what he was going to do. He had known from the moment he asked the question. He found the blind god Höder standing apart from the game, unable to participate because he could not see. Loki guided his hand. He placed a dart of mistletoe in it. He aimed it for him and told him to throw. Baldur fell dead. The silence that followed is something the Norse sources describe as the worst moment in the history of the gods. The most beloved being in existence, gone by the hand of his own blind brother, guided by a man who had eaten at their tables for centuries. And Loki was not finished. When the gods attempted to ransom Baldur back from the realm of the dead, every living creature in existence wept for him, which was the condition for his return. One creature refused. A giantess named Thaukt sat silent and cold and said she had no tears to give for Baldur. Let Hel keep what she held. That giantess was Loki in disguise. He had killed Baldur, and then he had made sure Baldur stayed dead. The gods found him shortly after. He had fled to a remote mountain and built a house with 4 doors, so he could watch every direction at once. He had the ability to transform into a salmon and spent his days hiding in the river below. When he saw the gods coming from every direction, he threw a half-finished fishing net into the fire and dived into the water. But the gods had found the net's outline in the ashes. They built their own from what remained. They dragged the river. Loki leapt from the water. Thor caught him by the tail as he jumped, which is, according to the myth, why salmon have such narrow tails to this day. They had him, and what came next was something no creature deserved. Autumn. The gods brought Loki to a cave deep beneath the earth. They brought his sons with him, not to punish them, to use them. The gods transformed one of his sons, Vali, into a wolf. In that form, Vali tore apart his brother Nari. The gods took Nari's entrails and used them to bind Loki to 3 rocks in the cave. The entrails hardened into iron. The chains could not be broken. Loki was bound to the earth until the end of time. Then the giantess Skadi, who had her own reasons to hate Loki, took a venomous serpent and fastened it to the rock above his face, so that its venom would drip, drop by drop, onto his skin for eternity. His wife Sigyn stayed with him. She held a bowl beneath the serpent to catch the drops before they hit him, and she stood there for every moment of every age in the dark beneath the earth, catching venom in a bowl for a husband who had abandoned her, humiliated her, and brought catastrophe to every world he touched. She stayed. When the bowl became full, she had to leave to empty it. In those moments, the venom hit Loki's face. The pain was so great that his body convulsed against the chains. The earth shook above him. The Norse believed that earthquakes were Loki, writhing in his chains beneath the world. Every time the ground moved, it was the sound of a god in agony, waiting. He would wait there until Ragnarok, until he could captain the ship made from the fingernails of the dead and lead the armies of chaos to the plain of Vigrid, where the gods who had bound him would finally get the war they had been preparing for. Which brings us to the question this myth has been circling since the very beginning. Did the gods cause Ragnarok? Look at what the gods actually did. Loki's children were born. Prophecy said they would be dangerous. So the gods took them, Hel, Jormungand, Fenrir, and cast them out, imprisoned them, threw them into the deep ocean. They made 3 powerful children of a complicated ally into 3 enemies who had very good reason to want revenge. Then they bound Loki in a cave with his son's entrails and left a serpent to drip poison on his face forever. They made the Chaos God into something that had nothing left to lose. They handed him a reason to burn the world down. The Vikings who told this story understood something about power that most people still get wrong. When you try to imprison the thing you fear, you do not eliminate the threat. You guarantee it. Loki did not become the destroyer of the world. Despite being punished, he became the destroyer of the world because of it. And yet, the myth doesn't let Loki off the hook entirely either. He killed Baldur, the most innocent being in existence, with deliberate cruelty. He made sure Baldur stayed dead when he didn't have to. He caused suffering that had no practical purpose, no political calculation, no survival logic behind it. Some things cannot be explained by trauma. Some things are just what a person chose to do. Loki is the most modern figure in all of Norse mythology because he cannot be resolved. He is not a villain you can dismiss. He is not a hero you can celebrate. He is a mirror held up to the question of whether chaos is something that exists in the world or something that the world creates. The Norse never answered that question. They just told the story and let you sit with it. If you want more myths like this, the ones that don't resolve cleanly, the ones that are still arguing with you 3 days later, subscribe. Next week, we're going to ancient Greece, and we're covering Bellerophon, the hero who killed the Chimera, tamed Pegasus, and then decided to fly to Mount Olympus to become a god himself. The gods had something to say about that. Don't miss it.